Students, transmission modes की बात चल रही है and we discussed serial transmission. Students, serial transmission की first type जो कि asynchronous transmission है उसको discuss किया था. Now we'll talk about the second type of serial transmission, which is the synchronous transmission. Students, as you can see on the slide, in this particular case, as opposed to the asynchronous transmission, our bit stream is combined into larger units which we called as frames. Now these frames, they consist of multiple bytes. So you can see that there are multiple bytes in a frame. But students, each byte is introduced onto the transmission link without a gap between it. So you can see that there is no gap. There are gaps between the frames, as you can clearly see, but there are no gaps between each byte. Students, the receiver receives this frame, and then it is up to the receiver to separate the bit stream into bytes for decoding purposes. So students, our data is transmitted as an unbroken string of ones and zeros, and then the receiver, it is up to the receiver to separate that string into bytes or characters. Students, you can see in this slide that we have got divisions between bytes. In reality, those divisions do not exist. You can see the no gap that I have drawn out here. That shows a division between every 8 bytes. In reality, this division does not exist. We have got a sender who puts the whole data onto the line as one long string, and even if the sender wants to send it in separate bursts, it can be done. Students, if it is done in separate bursts, then we insert some gap bits, or we insert some idle bits in there. Now, students, in this particular case, as you can see, we have got no start bits, we have got no stop bits, and we don't have any gap. So everything that we were working with in the case of asynchronous transmission is not present in the synchronous transmission. So students, in this case, our timing is extremely important. So the accuracy of the received information, students, in this particular case, it's completely dependent on the ability of the receiving device or the receiver out here to keep an accurate count of the bits when they arrive. If the receiver loses this count, the original signal will not be recovered. Students, as you can imagine, the advantage of this type of transmission mode is speed. Students, this is used in high-speed communication because it does not have any extra bits or gaps at the sending end, and there is nothing to remove for us at the receiving end as well. More useful for high-speed applications, and specifically the applications from one computer to the other. अब students, transmission modes की serial transmission के अंदर third type की जानिब चलेंगे, and that is isochronous transmission. Students, in real-time audio and video transmissions, the delay is very important. When I say the delay is very important, what it essentially means is that the synchronization between the characters is not enough. The whole stream of data needs to be synchronized. Think about an audio in real time. Think about the different images that we send when there is television broadcast. If the real-time audio and video applications, if the sender sends the data, and if it's not received in the right order at the receiving end, you will never be able to recover the real-time audio and video that is sent from point A to point B. So synchronous transmission does not work in this particular case. So students, the third type of serial transmission mode or technique that we use is isochronous. And isochronous transmission, it guarantees that the data is fixed rate when it arrives at the receiving end.